Hello everyone, this is Zero, and today we're in episode 3 of our character design perusal. And this time we're examining Lilyth. So who is Lilyth? She is a knight who led Leonie's 2nd Division Chalum, and is feared by the neighboring countries for her swordsmanship. She has a rough manner of speaking, but also a strong sense of justice, and cannot abandon those in need. She takes good care of Mont, because he resembles the brother she lost in battle. We also do get supporting information in regards to Lily's path in one of the vision cards. Let's have a look at the description of that vision card. There was a span of roughly 2 years where Lilyth was away from Leonis. The catalyst for this was her younger brother Volk's death during the war with Venice. Clutching his lacerated body, she vowed to set out for revenge. As for what exactly happened during those 2 years, she's not moved but to divulge the details, even to Mont. And we can certainly see what happened during those 2 years. She has accrued a number of scars, so I'd imagine that that period must have been quite traumatic and contributed to her personality. We'll talk about that a bit later. Okay, so we can see that she's also featuring her TMR, the Flame Sword, and that her primary color are red, and the complementary of red, green, which is noticeable in her eyes, and interesting enough, in the headscarf that she's wearing. Let us examine this design. So, my eyes are drawn in a downward motion, starting from her face and following this fashion over here. So it's an 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock fashion. Body is very asymmetric, and this is accentuated by her posture and the elements that make up her outfit, such as the headband being on one side, the sword, which is trying to break the eye tracking motion, and also what appears to be a scarf, not very easy to see in her 2D design, and also elements in her legs, and her what I would call skirt as well. And also she's facing on one side too. She's quite top heavy. I think that is an element that is very hard to not notice. And you'd imagine that that would cause issues in combat in regards to mobility. But we can see that she has very defined legs and arms, and she has an enormous strength. This looks like a Zweihander, the flame blade, but she's handling it with one hand. And also in combat, her combat moves all entail attacks with one hand. So I definitely wouldn't want to come across her in battle. Okay, let's talk about her face expression and her body language. It emanates a strong sense of confidence, strength, and almost intimidating. But also kind of mother-like, if you'd say. It's like she's looking at you kind of in a way, what have you done wrong this time? But her leg posture, the fact that they're open wider than her shoulders, indicate that she's quite stable and sure of herself. Her hair, this is an element that I found quite interesting. Her hair is wrapped in a scarf in a similar fashion to the poster of the 1920s women's rights movement. I wonder whether this is an element to reinforce that she is independent and she is just as capable as any man, especially with the fact that she has a leadership position in Chelum. Okay, let us compare to 2D and 3D design. Let's try to get this to scale as much as possible. And I noticed a lot of differences in both design. The 2D version of Lilyth looks wider and for a lack of better term, thicker, both in her waist and quads and upper body as well. She looks more horizontal, whereas in her 3D design, she looks taller, thinner, kind of lacking substance. Perhaps this might also be an eye illusion that is caused by the fact that her hair is so voluminous. Also, yeah, I'm not really happy, or I don't really appreciate this body part size. It looks like she has implants. I think she would have fared much better if she was maybe 2 or 3 sizes smaller in that area. And another thing that we can notice is significant differences in her facial structure. Like I mentioned before, here she looks like she has a more round face, whereas here is more oval and slimmer. And there's differences on her forehead as well. And not to mention the fact that her legs looks much skinnier in the 3D model than in the 2D. However, I think they did their best to retain her very compact glutes, as noticeable here. Let us go to the 3D model. And it's quite interesting, you know, like we can see that she definitely has winter attire, despite having a certain amount of skin showing. The fact that she has a lot of hair, perhaps to warm her head, a scarf, and clothing that would reminisce perhaps synthetic clothing, or kind of a kilt, would make me imagine that she doesn't really like the cold. She tries to keep us warm as possible, even with her arm warmers. However, maybe she doesn't feel as cold on her legs. She might need the agility to attack head first, keeping account that her main job is night. And yeah, one other thing that I noticed is that her animation is much different than the other knights. Let us have a look at this one. And let us compare her to Whisper and Tyrell. You'll notice that they have the standard knight animation, and I think there's only maximum 4 or 5 knights in World of Division that have a knight primary job. So I do appreciate the fact that they gave Lilyth unique animation. It also reinforces the fact that she is a primary character and is deserving of that little touch. Now, there's a couple of things that we can notice from her animation. I think those perhaps are a representation of what happened to her past. When she starts the animation, her face almost looks like a frown or a bit of uneasiness, but then she tries to cover that mean expression with a very hearty smile. Okay, so I believe that Lilyth was based on a number of characters, and the main one that I was able to identify is Aloy from Zero Dawn. They have very similar personalities in regards to being independent female main characters, and they are very brave and are not afraid to explore and go head first in regards to resolving a problem. That is usually considered to be a male attribute, where male try to pierce and resolve an issue, whereas women try to be more comforting and holistic with their view. Perhaps the fact that they're trying to cover a male role or like a problem-focused role is also reinforced by what we mentioned before with the feminist scarf on her headscarf on her head. And I believe that the fact that she is based on Aloy is also represented by the fact that she have a ranger job. So yeah, I thought that to be an interesting element. And another character I believe Lilyth is based on is also Lara Croft. I believe Lara Croft is the main female strong character that a lot of newer media has been based off, and that is certainly an element that I noticed with her chest. But also, Lara Croft has evolved and has become less cocky and more independent. There's definitely been character development in the latest iteration of Lara Croft. And she's also become a bow user. So yeah, there's that as well. Okay, thank you very much for tuning in today, guys. We are gonna keep it nice and short. And we are going to examine another Cellum's character next time. And this will be Lilyth. Okay, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you next Thursday. You guys take care. Bye for now.